Have you ever wondered why some of your biggest dreams just happen, almost like magic, while others feel completely stuck no matter how hard you try? It's a super common feeling. Well, a mystic from the 20th century named Neville Goddard had a very specific and pretty powerful answer. He believed there was a missing key to unlocking our own creative power. And today, we're going to find it.
All right, so here's our roadmap. We're going to start with Goddard's most mind-blowing idea that your imagination is literally God. Then we'll get into the absolute core of his teaching, this huge difference between thinking of a goal versus thinking from it. We'll look at some real-world proof, break it all down into a simple 4-step guide you can actually use, and finish up with the big takeaway. You are the one with all the power.
So, before we can even get to the technique, we have to wrap our heads around the foundational premise. And fair warning, it's a big one. It's all about the nature of the power that he believed is sitting right inside each of us.
Okay, so Goddard's whole philosophy kind of hinges on his unique take on a really famous Bible verse, from the Gospel of John. The Word became flesh and dwelt among us. Well, Goddard said the original Greek actually meant it dwells within us. For him, this wasn't some one-time historical event. No, he believed it means the creative force of God, the thing that literally made everything, is housed inside every single person.
And he didn't beat around the bush. He came right out and said that this Word dwelling inside us is our own human imagination. So think about that. He's saying your imagination isn't just for daydreaming. It's the divine, creative power of the universe. It's not some external God you pray to. It is you. That idea right there, it changes everything.
So, believing your imagination is God is one thing, but the real question is, how do you actually use it to get what you want? This is where we get to that subtle, but absolutely crucial shift in mindset that Goddard called the missing key.
Here it is, the whole game right here. Most of us spend our lives thinking of our desires. We see that dream job, that relationship, that perfect house, and it's over there, in the distance. We're working towards it. It's always in the future. And what does that do? It automatically creates a separation, right? It's a constant reminder that you don't have it yet. It's an acknowledgement of lack. But thinking from the goal, that's a total 180. It's about living from the end result. It's a present tense feeling. You're already that person. It creates this sense of oneness, of fulfillment, right here, right now.
So that's the bottom line. Just wanting something, even with all your heart, actually keeps it at a distance. The real secret, the actual technique, is to mentally and emotionally move into the state of your wish being a done deal, an accomplished fact.
Now, I know what you might be thinking. Okay, that's a nice theory, but does this stuff actually work? Well, Goddard was adamant that these weren't just cool ideas. They were laws, just like gravity. And he used his own life and his family to prove it.
Let's start with one of his own stories. We're going back to 1933. Neville is in New York City, it's the middle of the Great Depression, and he is flat broke. But he has this overwhelming desire to go home and spend the winter with his family in Barbados. He had the want, but he had absolutely no way of making it happen.
So what did he do? He didn't just think of Barbados, he started thinking from Barbados. For a whole month, every single night as he lay in his bed in New York, he would imagine and feel that he was actually sleeping in his dad's house back in Barbados. He felt the warm breeze, he saw the familiar furniture, he lived in that reality. And you know what happened? At the end of the month, a letter shows up from his brother with a ticket and money for the trip. But if you think that's impressive, the story about his family's business is on a whole other level. This wasn't about a vacation. This was about building an entire empire from what looked like an impossible dream. So his brother Victor felt the family had been pushed out of a business they should have been a part of. So what did he do? For 2 straight years, twice a day, every day, he would look at this specific building that they didn't own, and in his imagination, he would see his family's name, Goddard, up there on the marquee. He wasn't hoping for it. He was living from the end, the reality where it was already true. And after 2 years of this persistent imaginal act, out of nowhere, a man offered to finance the family's purchase of that very building. They bought it for $50,000. 41 years later, that same property, the seed that started it all, sold for $840,000. That's a heck of a return on an investment that started purely in the imagination. And that was just the start. The business that grew from that single building eventually became a company worth over $15 million. And, get this, they did it all without any outside partners. It was all built on this one principle.
Okay, so the stories are amazing. They're the proof.
But the real question is, how do we do this? The good news is, Goddard didn't just tell stories. He gave a very clear, repeatable method. And it boils down to 4 pretty simple steps.
All right, step 1, decide. You have to know exactly what you want. No vagueness, get crystal clear. Step 2, construct your end scene. Don't imagine the whole movie, just a short, simple scene that would happen after your wish was fulfilled, like a friend shaking your hand and saying, "Congratulations." Step 3, and this is the secret sauce, feel its reality. You have to catch the mood of the wish fulfilled. What does it actually feel like? And finally, step 4, persist. You have to return to that feeling, that scene, over and over again. Especially, he said, in that drowsy, relaxed state right before you fall asleep. And this all leads us to the final and maybe the most powerful piece of the whole puzzle. This isn't a passive process. It requires you to understand that you're the one in the driver's seat. You are the operant power.
Now here's a really important bit that trips a lot of people up. Your job is not to figure out how it's going to happen. You don't worry about the plan or the people or the timing. Your only job is to stay faithful to the assumption, that feeling of the wish fulfilled. If you can do that, Goddard said a bridge of incidents, a series of totally natural-seeming events, will unfold in your life to bring it into reality.
This quote pretty much says it all. The reality you're imagining might feel totally false right now. Your bank account, your relationships, your 5 senses might be screaming no way. But if you persist in that assumption, if you keep giving it the feeling of reality, it has to harden into fact. It's a law. So really, this leaves us with one heck of a question to think about. If it's true, if your own imagination is the one and only creative power, and it's running 24/7 whether you're paying attention or not, what are you imagining all day? What are the feelings and mental conversations you keep going back to? Because that's what you're building for your future. In the end, this entire explainer really boils down to this one simple, powerful question. This isn't just about learning information. It's an invitation to try it for yourself. So whatever it is you truly want, just for a moment, ask yourself this. What would it feel like, right now, if it were already true? That feeling, that's the whole secret.